We're back. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the episode 3 of Story Time by Stop Lookin.
It's your boys Bogo and
Bernie right here.
Coming in to you guys on June 1st of 2020. What a crazy
First day of
year.
June, you know what they say. Junie, firsty. Important day.
Important, very important.
Right now we're going through a period of serious racial injustices throughout the country, and these are defining moments for our country, honestly. There's been protesting throughout the states, throughout the world. There's been rioting and looting.
So today's podcast, well, for you guys that don't know, we basically just tell stories about our lives that relate to our brand, Stop Lookin', and how it's grown and how it's gone to what it is today. Today we're going to be talking about specifically how me and Bernie got into Summer Smash Festival by Cole Bennett, who runs Lyrical Lemonade. And we're going to give you guys a little rundown of how that happened, what happened when we got there, and what that meant for us, and how that really brought us to another level in terms of our brand equity and perceptions from the customers and everyone, you know. It was a very good opportunity for growth. And we're going to get into it today, all the juicy, gory details.
Yeah, so that was a sick moment for us as a small brand to be able to meet some of the biggest people right now in the culture of, you know, hip hop and pop music, and just really see with our eyes what it took to create such an amazing festival that brought together almost 25,000 people from all over the country to Chicago last summer, and how we were able to use that opportunity to interact with other people that we had never even knew existed. We were able to make a connection with so many new people and really spread our message throughout the Midwest very effectively and throughout other areas of the country.
Yeah, so how did this start? So basically, last podcast we talked about how living in two cities really has its pros and cons, and we talked a little bit about when Bernie came and stayed with me for like 3 weeks in New York City, the beginning of summer 2019. So beginning of summer 2019, Bernie's staying at my house in New York City, my apartment I should say, and one random morning I'm checking the company email, and I read that we get an email from Lyrical Lemonade saying, sorry for the late notice, but we need to move forward on this quickly. And they were basically offering us to have a pop-up in their festival, and I had never heard of this.
So what had happened was that about like 2 months before this whole situation happened at Bogo's apartment, I was back at school. It was like probably like a random Tuesday, Wednesday night. I was just, you know, chilling with the boys in Indiana, kicking back, and I was scrolling through Instagram. This was like 11 at night. I even have the email timestamp. Scrolling through Instagram, and I saw that Lyrical Lemonade posted that they were taking applications for vendors for the new festival called Summer Smash. And I was like, you know what? They're probably not going to choose us, because I guarantee you they have so many other brands trying to get into that. And we were literally just about a year old, really super young brand. We still are very young, but this was literally at the tender age of 1 year old. I wrote a bold email to Lyrical Lemonade, which expressed our interest in being vendors at the festival. You know, I wrote it pretty consciously and made sure that all my P's and Q's were correct. So I sent that email, and, you know, that night continued for me, and I drank, you know, chilled out. And as time went by, I kind of just forgot I ever sent that email. It took me like less than 10 minutes to write it and then to send it, and then I was just back to my night with my friends. So just kind of slipped my mind, and I was at school too, so I had a lot of things going on.
But yeah, crazy how like a little 10-minute decision on a random night like becomes something so big and snowballs into what it became. So the email came with an offer for us to be vendors there and have a little pop-up area, and we needed to invest like a decent amount of money to actually be there, because obviously nothing's for free. So we really were considering, like, we didn't know if we should do it or not, because it was kind of expensive.
Don't forget that we literally had 2.5 to 3 weeks from when we got that email to when the festival was happening.
And we had no inventory
to
made.
plan a whole merchandise collection, and not only that, but to figure out how we were gonna get all of this merchandise ready in time, and then to Chicago, and then to the people.
Yeah. And it wasn't even that simple. We have to create a whole concept, so that could take a week, it could take 2 days, it could take 2 weeks, who knows. Like, you know, we were like very time pressured, and also we needed to pay them for the vendor fee, and we really were stressing, and we didn't know if we should do it because it really
we were
was
still
hard.
a young company. We did not have a lot of money in our bank account, and basically it was a leap of faith for us because we had to calculate, you know, how many people were going to be at the festival. Then we had to calculate what percentage of those people would even stop by our booth. They're there for the festival, they're there for the music.
We're competing with Lyrical Lemonade merchandise also, and other vendors. So
You know, you've got Trippie Redd and The Baby both performing at the same time on 2 different stages, and then you're thinking, I'm just a little vendor here, and I have these huge overheads that I need to cover. So it really makes you think about how you're gonna justify being there and how you're going to, you know, calculate if you can even afford to be there, because sometimes you really just can't afford to be some places, and that there's nothing wrong with that. It's just being smart about and calculating your opportunities. But basically, we were calculating out of the 20 to 25,000 people that were going to be there. We were calculating who would stop by our booth. Then we were calculating of that percentage of people who would actually
it's
be
25,000 each day, by the way. It's 50,000 people that went.
Right.
Saturday
And we would
and
calculate
Sunday.
who would actually be able to buy something and would want to buy something. And then at the end, we calculated that if 1% of the whole festival bought one piece of clothing, we would be able to not only make our overhead back, but profit also. And the calculation was 50,000 people would be there over 2 days. So if 1% of people came to our booth, connected with us, and bought something, then that would be 500 people. And that was enough for us to break even on our overhead and to profit a few dollars. That made it more than worth it for us to be there. At that point, we had no interest in profiting.
We just wanted to be there for the marketing, exposure, and connections, basically.
Exactly. The networking effect.
But yeah, the network effect, which we always talk about on this podcast, guys. So keep in mind that. But yeah, so we also had the problem of where we were gonna stay, because this is in Chicago. We didn't want to add more costs to our already expensive overhead.
We were already racking up thousands of dollars with our manufacturers to produce all of the clothing
flights to get
in
to
a
Chicago.
short period of time. So we had to pay an expedited fee, and we had to be pressuring them every single day, and it was just the unideal situation for anybody who's trying to make a quality piece of clothing. You never want to put pressure on your manufacturer in a way of time constraints. So that was just like an uncomfortable thing for everybody to deal with, but it was well worth it, because sometimes, you know, deadlines can be tight and you just gotta be able to work around them and understand that sometimes you gotta hustle the bustle, you know?
Okay, well, what I was trying to say is that we didn't want to add more expenses to our already expensive costs, because if we were gonna have to get a hotel for 3 days in Chicago, that would have been another easily like $500 minimum. That cuts out all of our profit that we would have made, basically, because it wasn't a really profitable operation. It was more for marketing, which is why I decided to hit up my friend. He like went to U Chicago, so he had like a frat house, and we're like, okay, we're gonna stay at this frat house. We're gonna have the whole frat house to ourselves. We're gonna chill out there, be able to.
So, just to be clear, Bogo never told me that we were staying at a frat house. He just told me that we were staying at both of our friends' apartment. But he had communicated with him, so I hadn't talked to him at all. It was just Bogo and him, and the whole time Bogo was telling me, don't worry, we have an open apartment to ourselves. Our friend is not there right now, he's in Europe or something, so we could stay there. And I was like, perfect. I didn't ask any more questions, and I just went with the flow.
Yeah. So what actually ended up happening was that through our pressure and obviously paying more, we were able to produce everything we needed in time, and we also didn't want to pay for shipping it to Chicago. So we decided to carry it all with us in duffel bags through the airport and take it with us, all the inventory that we were going to take to Summer Smash.
So basically, Bogo was already in New York City and I was in Miami. So I had to take care of all of the merchandise stuff, which includes like packaging everything and folding stuff and making sure everything is properly done for when we're selling it. I had to sit with my mom one night for like 5 hours, like the night before the flight, and I had to fold with her 150 t-shirts and package them and tag them and do everything to look like a product. And I stuffed like 2 full-size luggages, 2 of them that carried 50 pounds. I literally just took a backpack with me to Chicago with all my clothing in it for the 3 days I was going to be there. And then I pull up to the airport with 100 pounds of clothing in my luggages. I had to literally schlep all of that to Chicago. And then once I got to the baggage claim, that's where I met up with Bogo. And then that's when the weekend really began.
So we thought we were going to this beautiful open apartment with these duffels, you know. What it turns out being is that it's a frat house on the south side of Chicago in a really dangerous neighborhood that it looked, we walked in and it looked like they had just had a party 2 months ago and they just all left. And
No,
didn't
not
clean
2
up
months ago,
anything.
like 2 days ago.
No, it was old stuff, like really old rotting food and like sticky floors. Like they had been off school already for like.
We'll put a little video just to show you guys
Yeah,
how
yeah.
crazy this shit was. There was it was like you went to a landfill and you took all the garbage from the landfill and then you just
Threw it into
a 5-story building. Everything's connected. You can walk up the stairs and down the stairs and go into any floor. So we were just exploring the house and it was just covered in
It
garbage.
was a vivid nightmare.
Fast food bags everywhere.
Mold, dust,
Black
like,
mold in the showers, broken walls,
literally,
sticky floors, no AC.
Bando, like worse than a bando. And
Like
to add,
I don't understand how people could have lived in that habitat because it was borderline uninhabitable.
Yeah. So we started panicking a little because we had so much shit with us. We had a huge festival the next day where we wanted to be well rested. We were gonna have to be working from 10 a.m. till when the festival ended.
No,
at
not 10 a.m. We would be working. We had to wake up at 7 a.m. and be there till 1 a.m. that whole day. So
But yeah, we had to get stuff ready because it's not just bring the clothing. We need to decorate the booth. We need to print like posters and stickers and all this other stuff that we need to like use for marketing at the festival. And we just thought it was a huge nightmare that we didn't even have a place to be like comfortable to like sleep in.
shower and
Like there was like not even a
Decompress.
usable shower. And to add insult to injury, like I was tremendously, like I guess on the flight there I got a really bad case of bronchitis and I couldn't even swallow, speak or breathe. And I think going into that moldy frat house made it worse. And then we were stressed in a bad neighborhood of Chicago and like with all of our shit, just not knowing what to do.
We just got really paranoid and stuff.
So as we were saying, we had to get to the festival pretty early to set up.
So we decided that we had to get out of that neighborhood and we hit up all of our friends that were in Chicago that weekend or that we thought could be there and basically telling them that we were there, that we were here, we were homeless for the weekend. And it was either we found some hotel to stay at or try to stay with them. And after like about an hour of just doing this, we finally found somebody to stay with.
Like very luckily, a friend of ours who's in his frat had an internship in Chicago and he happens to be the son of my dad's best friend. It just added up somehow, like we got lucky. They had an open couch for us and we went from Southside ghetto area to a luxury building in downtown Chicago where we felt so much more comfortable and at peace.
We went to sleep. That night we were done. The day was over. So the next day we wake up super early, bright and early at 7 a.m.
Let's keep in mind this is a Saturday, the first day of the festival.
So we get to the festival at around 9:30, 10 a.m. There's already people lining up
To get their tickets.
at a will call. And we basically get there with the suitcases of clothing and it's like 9:30 a.m. We're like just still half asleep and we're looking for our contact who's Tara.
Shout out Tara.
and she is basically who we've been talking to back and forth.
The
about.
brand partnerships person at Lyrical Lemonade.
We were basically talking back and forth with her about everything. She was helping us with all of our questions, and she basically set us up with Lyrical Lemonade to be a vendor.
So we get there and we're like stressing out because obviously Tara's really busy and she's like not answering or not there to greet us, and we're just there. The security's like thinking we're fans trying to sneak into the festival early, but we're actually vendors because we had to get our vendor wristbands, and it was just like a stressful process in the morning and just carrying heavy stuff. But we finally got to our little tent area and we started setting up. Thankfully Bernie had 2 friends that wanted to help.
Shout out Rothschild, I see you boys. Shout out Blatt, I see you too.
So it was honestly a really hot summer day in Chicago on a field, and we were just working, sweating.
Just unloading these luggages with hundreds of t-shirts and hoodies and hats and stickers and
posters.
Just so much stuff. We literally came fully packed. So we're at the festival and,
we're setting up.
And just a little personal background, I'd been watching Cole Bennett's music videos way back before Lyrical Lemonade blew up, way back when the channel was called Cole Bennett, literally. I got really into those music videos, just the most SoundCloud rap, Smoke Perp videos, young bands.
We're setting up the tent and we see in the distance a yellow man wearing a full yellow tracksuit, and we're just like, oh shit, that's definitely Cole Bennett. So we're like, dude, we have to go approach him now because this is our chance.
The festival wasn't open yet. There was nobody else around us. It was literally an open field with luscious grass. And then he was just standing out there in the distance wearing a full yellow outfit.
So we're like, holy shit. It was just very symbolic because Lyrical Lemonade is yellow. And yeah, we're just this is our chance. We need to go meet him. We need to tell him who we are, thank him for the opportunity.
We gotta seize the moment, C'est la vie.
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie.
So we went, we approached him, we introduced ourselves, we told him we were really grateful for the opportunity. Took some pictures, gave him a care package for him and his family because his mom and cousins were working at the festival.
Of course.
And it was just a really good positive interaction. We got some pictures.
Really good guy, super humble. Always trying to do something for his community, always trying to do something for the culture. So big respect to Cole.
Yeah. And it was just really cool seeing how they were all setting up the festival. And that's when we started really getting into this mindset of wow, live entertainment is really cool. It's really because it's a lot of teamwork. It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of managing other people. It's
a really fun business.
It's basically a huge orchestra that all has to be playing their part for it all to sound good. If one person doesn't do their practice and messes up on a note, that affects the whole orchestra. So it's
exactly. So yeah, it was just really cool. And then time came and the festival opened and crowds of people started pouring in.
Running in.
And that's when I started going up to people, giving them free stickers, telling them to come check out our booth.
Basically just spreading awareness that we were there. We had done very minimal marketing to people in Chicago. Keep in mind that not only people in Chicago went to this festival, but people from all
over the Midwest would travel.
We met a girl from Alaska who was there.
Oh, even Alaska, yeah. She was offering Bernie $250 for his used Valentine's Day hoodie, which we'll put up right now. And we just didn't want to sell it because it was our last one, but
it was my personal hoodie.
That's just a little.
So I'm sorry if you're watching this, girl.
That's just a little funny story from the first day, but overall it was a really good first day. We sold more than half of what we brought. We
got to meet so many people that are like-minded and share the same culture as us and just are into the same things, which was exactly why we wanted to be in the festival in the first place, because
it's a great target demographic.
Lyrical Lemonade targets a young demographic who has interest in music, in culture, art, experiences. So we thought it would be perfect for us to be there because that's what we target as well, hand in hand.
And that night we just, remember, I'm still sick as fuck operating the entire festival.
Bogo's on his deathbed, sitting in the tent in the back,
popping Halls and Advil and Tylenol and Mucinex. It was nothing, candy. But I had to power through because it was such a cool experience that I really I didn't want to miss it for anything. And that night we honestly had a really nice time. The building we were staying at had views of all of Chicago. We'll put some pictures up of that. It was a really good time. And the next day there was a little bit of a speed bump. The day before, we realized that our prime selling time is when the headliners are not playing. So like earlier in the festival from like 12 to 6 is when people are walking around talking, it's not like Gucci Mane and the Baby and Juice World, or RIP Juice, are on the stages, right? So people are interacting with us, and we noticed that on the first day of the festival. But then the second day, it was bullshit. Why was it bullshit?
Because 2 hours into the festival, we're doing so well. We got people coming back to get more stuff. We got people who said that we're going to come back tomorrow. New people coming up to us. And we were literally just banging business out nonstop. It felt like we were like selling drugs. We get alerted that there's going to be a tornado approaching the park. And there was going to be a chance that they had to shut the festival down for indefinitely. They didn't tell us when. For the day. It could have been over. It could have been shut down. And then
2 hours in, we still had so much inventory.
We still had a lot of inventory to get rid of, but we were getting rid of it. People were coming up to us. We were getting little lines at our booth. It was popping off.
But then we just had to. The police came on the festival. They started kicking everyone out. Our banners started flying everywhere. Our banners started flying everywhere because of the wind. And
the sky literally just became black. It was sunny. It was nice in the morning, and then by 2 p.m. literally went black. And
everyone all the crowds of fans left on one side, and everyone that was working in the festival left on the other side, and we had to wait under a fire station roof because it started torrentially downpouring. And we found out that we could stay at one of our Bernie's friends who was helping us at the booth. He had an apartment nearby, so we Ubered there. We waited the storm out there. We were really scared it was over for us, but
we thought our merchandise was just gone. And those crazy photos you see after a tornado hits anywhere where everything is just fucked up and everything is just scattered across the grass, and you can't even recognize your things. Honestly, I thought that was what was gonna happen because they were really hyping this tornado up, and the only thing that was covering our merchandise was a 10 by 10 foot pop-up
nylon tent.
Nylon tent, yeah.
So it was not very hurricane proof, to say the least. But yeah, we were just praying and waiting it out. It was pretty shitty in the moment, but then we got the good news at around 6:30 p.m. that the festival would be reopening until 11, and we got back to it, and we ended up actually, obviously at 6, 7, the really good artists started getting on the stage. So we weren't getting that many sales, but as soon as all the festival ended and people were running out of the festival, we started getting crowds upon crowds.
It was
swarm of people at our booth.
I remember that Juice World was the last performance, the last headliner on Sunday, and as soon as his set was over, R.I.P. Juice, every single not every single person,
but hundreds of people just swarmed our booth, and we couldn't even process orders enough in time because they were kicking everyone.
I was literally, during the Juice World set, I took a little messenger bag with hella t-shirts in it because I was trying to get backstage to give anybody on Juice's team some clothing for Juice and for the team. And then I get a call from Bogo at the booth because the set was ending and I was still backstage trying to find people. He's like, bro, we're getting bombarded with people. We can't take orders. You need to get back here right now.
It was there was people to the point where I was speaking to 30 people at once, trying to process orders, taking their cash, giving them their change, swiping their credit card, giving them the shirts. And then the police started rushing everyone out and telling us we had to stop selling. But we really needed those last 10 minutes of hardcore back-to-back sales, so that we actually did end up breaking even on the whole operation.
So I was talking to police officers, I was telling them I need you to give me 5 minutes so that I can actually sell my merchandise and not lose money or anything like that. I was please just give me 5 minutes. If anything happens, I'll be responsible for it. I don't.
Yeah, and then we also, the next day, since we had 16 Chicago t-shirts left, we decided to go to a consignment store and try to pitch it to them to see if we could get it in their store. And to our surprise, all we had to say was we were at a pop-up at Lyrical Lemonade and they were down to take our merch, and it sold, and they still owe us the money. But
that was the story that we wanted to tell you guys about our experience at the Lyrical Lemonade Summer Smash of 2019 and how we were able to be there, how we were able to sell almost all of our merchandise there, and how that experience turned out for us as a lifestyle brand and entertainment production company. What we learned through being at the backstage experience and at the, vendor point of view of the festival, we were able to really inspire ourselves and get a better idea of what life was really like for festival owners. And
realizing what goes into a live entertainment production really got us intrigued more with that idea as a business, and that's when we really started looking into what we could do. And we'll talk about that more next podcast, but we're going to be talking about how we did our first concert, which actually only happened like 3 months after Lyrical Lemonade. So I think overall what we gained from this was really good brand equity and credibility to do basically work with bigger artists, work with bigger people, and I think it was really good.
I think that this was a small step but a huge impact for us, and we're really grateful for the opportunity that we were given by Tara. So shout out to Tara. And we were supposed to be at Lyrical Lemonade this year, but of course, because of everything that's been going on in the world, the festival has been postponed till next summer. So until summer 2021, we'll be back.
Thank you guys for tuning in, staying till the end. You guys are real. Enjoy your day, enjoy your life, and
stay positive. We're gonna make it through this, and peace.